It's amazing it's been a couple of years ever since Steel Panther has kind of thrust their way into the music scene and into our hearts and perhaps other orify, but it's definitely true. A number of years ago, this band came forward, really reinvigorating the hair metal genre, and doing so with an honesty that perhaps most hair metal bands from the 1980s wish that they could exhibit. Unless they all are actually super duper boring and only enjoyed relatively, tame missionary position. That's not a joke, that actually has something to do with this album, so just stick with me if you're unaware of who Steel Panther is. Now, over the past couple of years, they've certainly gained acclaim from being a tight live band that's kind of unpredictable and willing to have a lot of interaction with their fan base, but also by releasing tight albums such as Balls Out that exhibited the band's ability to make tongue-in-cheek jokes that are slightly offensive but also hysterical, and also have tight songwriting, even if the hair metal genre doesn't exactly seem like it's all of that complex. They return here with Lower the Bar, and this is an album that perhaps is a bit of a turning point, either that or a crossroads point for this group. This is a 11-track affair within its basic idea, its basic entity. If you add the 2 bonus tracks in, it becomes 13. Most of these tracks are going to hover within the 3 to 4 minute mark, with none of them really pushing any serious boundaries there. And the one thing that can be noticed about Lower the Bar is that it seems like a lowered bar compared to some of their previous affairs. Whenever you listen into tracks such as Going in the Back Door or Anything Goes to start off this album, it feels very typical, almost par for the course. Bands like this have the poor tendency of starting to write themselves into corners. It's sort of a gimmick, but sort of isn't. It's a real nice idea that is exhibited with strong songwriting, but that just doesn't feel like it's as strength-laden on these opening cuts, which can lead a listener to believing, especially a long-time Steel Panther lover, that perhaps the gimmick is starting to wear out, or maturity is somehow seeping in. How dare it? But then you get to a track such as track 3, Poontang Boomerang, which seems to revitalize that idea and that notion and feels fresh. It's almost like listening to a song such as Tomorrow Night, or just like Tiger Woods again. It has an epic feel to it, an epic chorus, and it's a message that is both humorous but also kind of makes you think a little bit about some of the experiences that perhaps you've had if you've been a bit wild and naughty. But then, whenever you continue forward, this is an album that kind of exhibits that sort of up and down feel. It's a roller coaster ride and not necessarily a good one. It's one that stays and sticks within its own confines. Whenever you listen to a song such as Now the Fun Starts, either that or Pussy Ain't Free, you're starting to get that feel. That there are some songs that are going to feel a little bit tamer than others, while others are going to attempt to sort of higher the bar or raise the bar a little bit, but just fall a little bit short of perhaps what has been expected within the past. Once again, Steel Panther show themselves to be apt and, very familiar songwriters, ones that are able to maintain themselves, but the unique feel to this album just doesn't feel to be as grandiose as perhaps experienced on a disc such as Balls Out. That was an album that just simply felt like it wasn't exactly building on their first album, but it instead was taking it to a brand new level and really adding something that made it feel more grandiose, like an event as opposed to just a follow-up album. It was one that also felt strangely topical, and with this album, there are some topical ideas here, but by and large, you kind of expected more. Lowering the bar might actually be one of the best ways to exhibit this album, or to really describe it, as this was almost a disappointment. The key word, though, is almost. Steel Panther's ability to really frame great hair metal style songs in the modern age still maintains itself as their savage strength. They have a sort of can-do attitude about that also is exhibited by their, lack of fear whenever it comes to adding in guitar solos, either that or taking some unconventional routes to gain exactly where they want to go. I Got What You Want, perhaps, would be a great example of this, either that or even a song such as Walk of Shame. These are tracks that, if it were handled by another hair metal band, or maybe even just another band period, would perhaps sound very atypical, either that or would feel like they were being forced a little bit, that these were songs that were just jokes that were being attempted but weren't actually going to have any sort of lasting appeal. With Steel Panther, on the other hand, these are songs that feel like they could easily become members of the rotation for some individuals that really enjoy this band, or become live spectacles. These are tracks that have that sort of open-ended feel also, where it could be seen as either or to those who are sort of hovering in between loving or hating these tracks. All in all, I would say that this might be Steel Panther's weakest effort, and it's a shame considering the album is called Lower the Bar. But really, at the same time, if you're a fan of hair metal and have been a fan of Steel Panther for a couple of years, there's a good chance that you're not going to be disappointed with this release. The band still does have their trademark snark, and that's one thing that helps boost them lyrically. It gives that hair metal a lot more character, and they definitely are still genuinely having fun every single day of their life, embracing this band and embracing this idea. So that's still there. This is not one that feels like they are strained either for time or really being snipped in the balls by a record label or by some sort of standards and practices. The band still is allowed to run full reign over their own material, and it shows. But based off of that, I would definitely like to see something that feels a little bit more grandiose, or else I might start to feel that this gimmick is starting to wear itself a little bit thin. And yeah, if you're insulted by the fact that I just call it a gimmick, well, it is a gimmick. And it's definitely one that's been one of the better and more received, not to mention best gimmicks of the 2010s. So it'd be a real shame to see that fade away by 2020. But I want to know what you guys think about Lower the Bar by Steel Panther. I myself find it to be a 17 out of 30. Definitely one that still has some charm to it and a lot of good things behind it, but not necessarily the album that we need. Let me know what you think about this album in the comments below. My name is coverkillernation, and if you like, pussy, well, you'll definitely dig this. During the month of April, we're going to be doing a 50-50 charity stream with One of a Kind Pets, which is a animal shelter that's located in Akron, Ohio. One of the best shelters I've ever seen. It's one that's no-kill. In fact, it goes around to other shelters and takes those cats and dogs that are on death row and gives them a second chance. They run 100% on donations. It's one of the cleanest and best facilities that is out there. Truly, it's a real sort of signpost to what the future of facilities like this should be. All the cats and dogs are very open to the public. You can interact with them. They're extremely tame, and you can also tell that they've gotten a lot of love, not only from the workers, but from those that have also come in looking to adopt. If you'd like to donate to this cause, there is a link that's down there in the description box. You can donate to the 50-50 charity stream. Half the proceeds will go there. Let me know what you think about Lower the Bar. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm coverkillernation. I'll talk to you next time.